All right, welcome to Friday. So today we are going to start to solve proportions. Now that we know how to solve some equations, we can get into some different things. So we're going to solve proportions. So a proportion is we have a ratio here and a ratio here set equal to each other. So I want to explain to you kind of how this works and why this works. And I guess I need to go to a different page. Sorry for not being prepared for this. Let's see. Let's go to documents. So I want to explain this to you, show this to you, and hopefully it'll make a little bit of sense. So a ratio or a proportion are two ratios set equal to each other. So if I have this, I think all of you will agree with me that 1/2 equals 5/10. They mean the exact same thing. All right. So let's just pretend like this is our ratios. Since they're equal to each other, we can do this cross multiplying. So I can say 1 times 10 is 10 equals 2 times 5. If I cross multiply this way, gives me 10. So anytime I have two ratios that are equal to each other, if I cross multiply, they are equal. Like if I had 3/4, and let's say that is equal to 6/10 or 6/8. Sorry. So I multiply these both by 2, gives me this one over here. If they're equal to each other, I should be able to cross multiply. 3 times 8 is 24. If I cross multiply this way, 6 times 4 is 24, and they are equal to each other. So that's why what I'm about to show you works. So this idea that a ratio compared to another ratio, if they're equal, then when I cross multiply, they'll always equal each other. All right, so on our homework today, here's our first problem, and it is going to be 2/5 equals 12/n. Now, with this, I know that we can multiply by 6 and get 12, all right? And we can multiply this by 6 and call that 30. But I want to show you how proportions work. So here's the work that I need to see today, and this is the important stuff. We're working up towards something big later on. So if I cross multiply this, so if I multiply this way, 5 times 12 is 60, and equals, and if I multiply this way, 2 times n is 2n. All right, so we have an equation here now, and this is what today is all about. So I need to get n all by itself. So this is back to what we did before spring break. This is a multiplication equation. I undo multiplication by dividing, and we always divide by the number attached to the letter. So I'm going to divide by 2, then I got to divide that side by 2. On the right-hand side, 2 divided by 2 is 1, n. 60 divided by 2 is 30, just like we thought what we should get. But we're working on this idea of having a proportion, this whole thing's called proportion, and cross multiplying to find n. All right, I know we can multiply by 6 to get that, but this is a different way because we're setting stuff up for a little bit later. The next problem on our homework is this. So we have 10/4 equals n/6. Now here, I'm not sure what to multiply 4 by to make 6. So we're going to do our cross multiplying. So I'm going to cross multiply this direction. 4 times n is 4n equals, if I multiply this direction, 10 times 6 is 60. So we're set up with our multiplication equation. So how do I solve multiplication equations? This is multiplication. I undo it by dividing, and I always divide by the number attached to the letter. On the left, 4 divided by 4 is 1, so I have 1n. 60 divided by 4, if you can't do that in your head, not a big deal. 60 divided by 4, 4 goes into 6 once. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, I get 2. Drop down my 0. 4 goes into 20. 5 times, no remainder. So I know that 60 divided by 4 is 15. So n is going to be 15. So this is the new stuff for the day, is solving proportions using cross multiplication and then doing my how do I solve multiplying a multiplication equations, which is right here. So I'm going to do one more for you and then turn you loose on your homework, which I've emailed to you. You need to finish up the rest of the sheet. So the last one that I'm going to do for you is this. I have, well, that color is not very good. I have 2 over n equals 5 over 25. All right, since these are equal to each other, this is a proportion, this ratio is equal to this ratio, I can cross multiply. So 2 times 25 is 50 equals, I can cross multiply this way, 5 times n is 5n. We now have that multiplication equation. I can undo multiplication by dividing, and I always divide by the number that is attached to the letter. My equal sign splits up into two sides. 5 divided by 5 is 1n. 50 divided by 5 is 10. So I know that 10 would make this a true statement, which, if we were to think about this, so I'm saying that n could be 10, all right? Sorry, just went brain dead. 2 times 25 is 50. 10 times 5 is also 50. So this is the work, though, I have to see. I have to see what you get when you cross multiply, which would be this equation. I have to see how you solve the equation, and then we're back to n equals 10. Notice how also we're going down the page for this. So please don't try to just say, okay, what do I multiply 2 by to get 5? Do the cross multiplying way so we get our equation and then we solve the equations. This is going to set us up for what we're going to do next week. Hopefully this explanation helps. Remember, I'm sending your worksheet to your emails, so good luck.